Dude, my vigor is in a weird spot. Stop it, please. Can't gap close him. All right. Greetings, everybody! This time we got an old build, my Dracul build, which is an ultimate gen build. We got a new version of it. We put it on different class. Back in the day, I used to play it on the Stam DK. Now we're putting it on the Warden, where it actually belongs, because the Warden gets way more ultimate gen than the Stamina DK could ever get. So I love this build. It plays absolutely fantastic, and having that much ultimate generation is so nice. It gives me feels of like back in the day when we had dynamic ulti. Feels good. Feels good, man. Let's get right into it. Let's look at the stats here. Almost 34k stamina, not too shabby. 28.5k health. And this goes up even further. If I heal here, this goes up to 30k. I believe we got the Emperorship bonus, but without that, we're still sitting at 28k health. So that's a lot of health for a medium armor build. Okay? So let that sink in. And then, of course, the Magicka, a little over 14k, not too shabby. We have a lot of Magicka sustain on this build because the way the build functions and the skills that we're using, we don't struggle with Magicka at all, so that's pretty fine here. The stamina recovery, 1800 unbuffed. Really nice regen here. Fully buffed, you get up to like 3k. That means if you have a buff up, if you just killed someone, and if you have taken a resource in Cyrodiil, you get a lot of bonuses to that. So this shoots up to like 3k. A good amount of stamina regen. And of course, you have the stamina netch that gives you stamina back, so that's roughly 200. So in the end, you end up at, you know, over 3k, which is, that's a lot of regen. The weapon damage fully buffed goes up to 4.5k. Not super crazy high, but trust me, we hit hard on the build. The reason why we hit hard is, you know, we're a Warden, and I explained it so many times. Wardens just get a lot of damage. If you want it or not, it's in there. It's in the class. So that's pretty nice. Looking at the resistances, fully buffed, we go up to 18k on both. On the back bar here, on the bow bar, a little extra. 18.7 spell and 18.3 physical resistance. Not too shabby. And 3.3, almost 3.4 critical resistance. Also not too shabby. On the front bar, the physical penetration, 8.2k, with the subterranean assault, of course, we get up to 13.5, so also a pretty nice amount of physical penetration here, not too shabby. Let's look at the effects here. The Mundus, we're using the Warrior just to get the weapon damage up a little higher. We are Vampire Stage 1, you know, like I said, if you don't want to be a vampire, you don't have to. That's why I dropped down to stage 1. I don't have to maintain my vampire at all if I don't need it. I just don't want to cure it, right? because if I need it back on the build on this tune, I have to go through the quest again. I have to find someone that bites me. So I just drop it down to stage 1. The disadvantages are, you know, they're not that harsh, so you know that's fine for me. If you don't want it, just drop it completely. It's fine. As the food, we're using the lava foot, which is amazing. And I mean, just look at this. We're using a lava foot, which doesn't give health, but we already have 28k, and in this case, even 30k health on a medium armor build. How is this even possible, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you in a second. But that's pretty nice because this food gives you a lot of stamina, and it gives you a lot of stamina recovery. That's why I love this. So if you can build for enough health with your sets and the enchants and stuff like that, putting the lava foot on is better than having, you know, less health on the sets and then using the dubious as the food, in my opinion. So yeah, lava foot, one of my favorite foods ever. Let's move on to the sets, and I will explain what's going on here. The sets are still the same. We're still playing the same sets, but just look at this. Okay, so Tava's Favor, max health, stam recovery, magicka recovery. Not too shabby. Pretty good bonuses here. That, of course, gets the max health up, gives us a nice amount of recoveries here. But when you dodge an attack, you receive the Blessing of Tava, generating 12 ultimate over 3 seconds. That's a lot of ultimate. And, of course, this can only occur every 3 seconds. So you're going to be dodging a lot on this build. You know, you're going to be dodging just to avoid damage, but of course, if you dodge an attack, it procs the Tavas. And, you know, you want to keep the Tavas ultimate gen ticking at all times if possible. So make sure you throw in a dodge roll every 3-4 seconds just to get the Tavas going, just to get the ultimate gen ticking. That's your main goal, basically. Use your sets to your advantage. The next set is Champion of the Hist. Champion of the Hist, great set, great bonuses, actually. Look at this. Weapon damage, double stamina, and a max health. That is great. These are great stats. And then, of course, on the 5-piece, the minor heroism, which is... It's not a super strong buff, but combined with all the other buffs that you can get, it's really, really nice. Of course, there's skills, like on the one hand and shield skill line, there's skills that can give you the minor heroism. But I think having the Champion of the Hist on as a set is better because while you are in combat, this is going to generate 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. So as soon as you get into combat, doesn't matter if you hit someone with a skill or not. If you are in combat, it's going to tick. It's going to give you a nice amount of ultimate. So it's always on when you're in combat, so that gives you the maximum amount. Just maxes out what you can get on ultimate. So I love this set. And of course, as you can see, we have the one healthy 5-piece bonus, and I have healthy jewelry on. That's why I have so much health. We got the health here, we got the health here, and we got the health on the jewelry. So by doing that, it allows me to run the lava foot, which gives me a decent amount of stamina back. So I get the stamina back that I lost, but I also get a big chunk of regen, more than I would get from the dubious, for example. So I like this combination a lot. If you get the chance to build it like this, do it. I think it's absolutely worth, because you just get a better balanced and bulkier build in general. You have pretty much the same amount of stamina that you would have had, but you get more health out of it, and you get more regen out of it. So I think that's absolutely worth doing. And of course, the monster set is Bloodspawn, just because, you know, they buffed it again. They nerfed it, now they buffed it again. It's actually a good set again. So you get the stamina recovery on the 1-piece bonus, which is very much needed, very nice. And then when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate, which is a big deal, every 5 seconds. And you get 3.5k physical and spell resistance. Of course, the physical and spell resistance was nerfed, but I think 3.5k on a 2-piece, that's nothing to complain about. It really isn't. So, you know, when this procs, you end up at like, I think 22k resistances on this build. That's fine. That's fine. For a build like this, you don't want to be hit too much anyway, you know? You got to find a good balance between being hit by stuff and not being hit. Because, of course, Blood Spawn is going to proc when you take damage. So, your best chance is maybe catch a dot, let the dot tick on you, and let the dot proc the Blood Spawn. And then, of course, use the Tava to generate while you're dodging harder hitting attacks. So you got to find the balance here. What do you dodge and what do you get hit by? Because you wanna proc both of the sets, right? You want to get the maximum amount of ult gen going. This one's going to proc anyway, so you only have to worry about, you know, if you see a big attack coming, dodge it. If you have a dot on you, maybe let it tick if it's not too hard. Let it tick until it procs the blood spawn and you're fine, and then you can purge it off with your Netch. Just keep that in mind for the playstyle. And of course, talking about the enchants and traits, as always, infused on the big pieces with the tri-stat enchants. On the smaller ones, impan with stamina. You can go health if you want more health. You can go magicka if you want more magicka. So the small ones are basically your flex spots, but I think the stamina is nice. You know, we have enough of the other resources, so we're just going for the stamina here. On our healthy jewelry pieces, we got the weapon damage, because we need some damage, right? We got a great sword on the front bar, which is sharpened with disease damage. The sharpen is, of course, going to give us extra penetration. The disease damage is going to debuff your opponent and reduce their healing received, so that you can finish them off while they're struggling with the heals. On the back bar, we got an infused bow with a weapon damage enchant. As always, you want to give them a little poke before you go in, get the weapon damage proc, get the extra 450 weapon damage, and then you go in and do your thing. And that's the sets, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the skills. On the front bar, we got Subterranean Assault. This is, of course, your main DPS. This hits really hard. It has a nice range. It is delayed damage, which is exactly what you want. And I explained this before, but the way I play this usually is I go for the Subterranean Assault, I swap over to the bow, hit him with a magnum shot, swap back, crit rush, light attack, execute. This is basically your combo that you want to do. Make sure you put the Growing Swarm on. You know, you want to hit people with the debuff here. Get some extra damage, and of course put a dot on them. Makes it easier to finish them off, in my opinion. Like I said, Growing Swarm, a great skill. Does a decent amount of physical damage. Puts the minor vulnerability on, and it spreads to other people near the target. So if you put this on a couple people inside a group, it will damage everybody in the group, and it's pretty nice. You know, it's a nice amount of extra damage that you can get out of this. And yeah, that's basically it. The next one is Executioner. Now, I usually always use Reverse Slice because I like the AoE execute better, but I found it doesn't perform as well as it did in the past. I found the damage a little too low, and it felt a little clunky. And someone mentioned to me that they have the theory that AoE versions of skills are buggier than single target versions. And I don't know if this is true. I tested Executioner. It definitely hits harder, and it seems to be less clunky. So for the time being, I think I'm going to go with the Executioner over the Reverse Slice, even though I gotta say I miss being able to execute multiple people at the same time. But, you know, Executioner, it seems to work better for me, so that's our Execute here. The next skill is Critical Rush. This is, of course, the gap closer. It hits fairly hard. I hit people for a good amount of damage here. You can even spam this if you want, because, you know, this is the only, like, good damage, instant damage skill that you have. The Execute, of course, only starts dealing good damage when someone is low health. This is a dot, and this has a delay. So if you want to add some extra damage, do a light attack crit rush spam. Light attack crit rush, light attack crit rush, light attack crit rush. That's a good way of doing things. You know, if you need to add a little extra damage, if you really need to pepper some damage into someone, you know, go for the crit rush spam. The next skill is Bird of Prey. This is mainly for buff purposes. This is mainly a passive buff. You put it on, you get the minor berserk when it's on. But of course, you can always use it as your movement speed. You have the bow dodge roll, you know, so you have two ways of getting that movement speed. Maybe when your stamina is low, go for the Bird of Prey instead of dodge rolling and sprinting. You know, saves a little bit of stamina. So you have the two options, which is really nice. But it's mainly for the minor berserk. So that way we don't have to run Slime Craw to get the buff, which is pretty nice. And this is very reliable because it's always on. It's way better than a Camo Hunter in my opinion. So yeah, put it on. Put it on, guys. The ultimate, of course, trusty old Dawnbreaker. You can't go wrong with this. It smacks hard. It adds a nasty dot. It knocks everybody down. And it's pretty cheap. And on this build, you'll have it up in no time. You use it, you kill someone, you dodge an attack, you absorb a little bit of damage, your sets go to work, bango bango, it's back up, and then you can use it again. Very nice. On the back bar, we got Magnum Shot. This is our main stun, and it also adds a good amount of damage. It hits actually pretty hard. So, like I said, it's part of the combo. You want to go in with this, you want to knock people back and then crit rush into them for some extra damage because, of course, you know, synergizes well with the crit rush because the further away your target is, the more damage you do. So by knocking them back from you, you get a couple meters extra range out of it, which increases the damage of your crit rush. So part of the combo, do it. Feels nice. It's like one of the most satisfying combos that you can do. The next one is Ice Fortress. This is our armor buff and gives us the minor protection. That's all that there is to it. Really good skill though. The next one, Shimmering Shield. This one is OP. I've said it a million times. I will say it again. This one is OP. And this is probably the most important skill on this build because, of course, not only does it absorb the damage from projectiles, which is... It is a lifesaver. It absorbs so much damage. If you have snipers on you, if you have sorks on you, throwing fragments and all kinds of projectiles, you just absorb everything, which really helps, especially when you're like low stamina, you don't even have the stamina to heal up. Put the Shimmering Shield up, it's going to save you. You get Magicka back for reflecting projectiles, so in the end, each shield is really cheap. You get like 25k, 2.5k Magicka back for casting it. So in the end, you probably pay like 1.3k Magicka for the shield. It's pretty cheap in that regard, and you get the Major Heroism, which is the best buff ever. It is so good. It's so much ultimate that's being generated here, and especially the Major Heroism in combination with the Minor Heroism, in combination with the Tava, in combination with the Bloodspawn. So much ultimate. I tested this in Skyreach, and I could gain up to 100 ultimate in 8 seconds. That is a ton of ultimate. You could go even more if you were a Nord. I personally don't prefer Nords, but if you really want to like just give it your all, put it on a Nord, you get even more ultimate gen out of it. So this is a great skill. I love this one a lot. The next one is Resolving Vigor. This is our main heal, actually our only heal. Like I said, you want to be careful on the build. You have a lot of health though to, you know, make up for the squishiness. But you want to put this on, dodge roll, put the Shimmering Shield on, and you're fine. You're fine for the most part. And then we got the Bullnetch here. Bullnetch, like I said, it gives you the stamina. It's like roughly 200 stamina regen that it adds, which is always active. It can't be cut off by sprinting or sneaking or blocking or anything, and it gives you major brutality, which is really nice. And of course it purges, which is a big deal. You can spam this to remove negative effects, And if you spam it, due to the passives here, which one is it? This one here, Bond with Nature. Anytime one of your animal companion skills ends, you are healed for a little bit of health. So this technically counts as ending the effect. If you spam it, as you can see, don't look at the 5k, that's just the health of the Natch being replenished. Just look at the little number to my right. You see 677, 677, 377, and then sometimes when it crits 1k, this can add a little bit of heal. So if you're low health, you want to make sure you keep your vigor ticking, and then you go into the Natch spam, which is definitely going to increase the amount of healing that you get. And the ultimate is Enchanted Forest. So this is your healing ultimate. And honestly, I probably should have said this is not our only heal, because this is up so fast. It's very cheap. 92 ultimate. We have increased cost because we are a vampire. If you are not a vampire, this costs like, I don't know, less. It costs less. I think it costs just 90. You know, I think the base cost is 90 off this one. So it could be even cheaper, you know, 2 ultimate cheaper. But this hits very hard. It's a lot of healing. It is an area, so you can heal a lot of people with it. You know, if you have a team, put it on, they can stand in it, they get a lot of healing out of it. But the main thing why I chose this is you generate 20 ultimate if you hit someone with the initial heal that is below 50% health. And in most cases, this is going to be you. So make sure you put this underneath you. You know, if you're above 50k, you can technically put it somewhere else and then run into it, like put it in a safe space and then run into it or something. But if you're below 50%, you always want to make sure you get hit by the first heal tick, right? You want to make sure you get hit by the first heal tick and get the 20 ultimate, because this is basically always like already, you know, you start with 20 ultimate after casting this. And on this build, like I said, it takes you like 5 seconds to get another one. If everything procs and it works well, this would take you like 5 seconds to get another one. So as soon as this is gone, you have another Enchanted Forest and you can put it down. So a lot of healing if you play it right. I love the playstyle. I love the synergies with all the sets, with all the bonuses, with this skill. It gives you so much ultimate. I freaking love this. It is amazing. So it's so much fun to play this build. But yeah, that's the skills. Let's take a look at the champion points here. Champion points, as always, basically in the red tree here. 51 Ironclad, 77 Resistant, 43 in Hardy and Elemental Defender, 56 in Quick Recovery, 37 in Warlord, 19 in Sprinter, 56 in Mooncalf, 22 in Arcanist, 43 in Tenacity, 56 in Tumbling, and 34 in Shadow Ward. And in the blue tree, we got 81 Mastered Arms, 56 Mighty, 56 Precise Strikes, and 77 Piercing. Pretty much, as always, basic, standard stamina setup. And that's the build, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you give this a try. It is a lot of fun to play. It's great for solo. It's probably even better in a group play scenario, because you can drop heals, or maybe if you want to do it, you can put a more expensive ultimate on, you know, maybe the permafrost or something. You're gonna get it up a lot. You can support a lot if you want. So play the build, enjoy it. It's one of the best builds ever. I love playing this. There's something about it. It's so agile. It has so much damage. You get your ultimate up so fast. So there's just so much fun with this build. So yeah, give it a try. I hope you like it, guys. I'll be back with another build soon. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Bye.